Hello BookTube, it's Becky from Becky Writes. This is Becky Reads, and this is my spring book haul. Now I know I said I was kind of putting myself on a book buying ban, but Book Outlet had a free shipping on orders over 40, and there was a couple books that were new releases I really wanted, so I have no self-control. So let me show you all these books. My first book was a pre-order from Book Depository, and that is The Good People by Hannah Kent. This is her latest release, and it isn't actually out in the US until September. I thought it was coming out in March, but it was coming out in the UK. So I ordered this UK edition, and just look at this cover with the gold leafing here. I just love this. I think it's a beautiful edition of this book. I really wanted it. This is about sort of 19th century Ireland and the potentiality for magic and women who are surviving terrible circumstances, and it's Hannah Kent who wrote Burial Rites, so I had to have it. I had to, you guys. I had to. The next two books come from a new and used bookstore that takes trade-ins. That big stack of unhaul that I did a few weeks ago, I'll link it on the screen. I was able to trade in a chunk of those books for in-store credit, and I picked up 2 books from that. The first one is Monsters Volume 1. This is written by Marie Lu and illustrated by Sana Takeda, and this is just a beautiful comic bind-up. Like, look at that artwork. Isn't that gorgeous? I just find that this is absolutely stunning, and I am so glad I have it, and in a couple of months the second volume comes out, so I'm very excited about that. The second book that I got from that used book trade-in is The Bear and the Nightingale by Katherine Ardun. This is a new release, and it is the retelling of a Russian fairy tale, but I'm not familiar with the fairy tale. It has something to do with a bear and a nightingale and winter and I think a runaway daughter or something. I don't know. I just was drawn to the cover. I've heard some good reviews about it, and a retelling of a fairy tale from a tradition that I'm not familiar with is something I find really interesting, and is something that I'm a collector of fairy tales in lots of different ways, so I am excited to be checking this one out. Alright, I'm going to quickly talk about the hobby books that I've ordered. I've ordered a couple in the last few months. The first one is A Cabin Full of Food by Marie Beausoleil. I have no idea how her name is pronounced. This is basically just a cookbook of like home style food, like biscuits and gravy and that kind of thing. So I also picked up Rosemary, Gladstar's and Medicinal Herbs. I have a digestive illness, as some of you guys know, and so I am looking for alternatives in order to help me manage that, since Western medicine has proved to be completely useless. This was recommended to me by several different people, and Rosemary Gladstar is a master herbalist. Like, she is internationally known. Feel confident that this is not just complete, like, new age mumbo jumbo. Then we get into my Book Outlet haul, and this is my only hobby book I got from there. This is the Backyard Homestead. Now, I reviewed this in my March wrap-up, but I loved my library copy so much that I ordered my own copy. This is just a really great overview of exactly what it says, a backyard homestead, from gardening to raising backyard chickens to doing, like, making your own yogurt and cheese. This is everything, like a nice little overview. Story publishing is fantastic, so if you are interested in that kind of thing, story publishing is always a solid choice. Also, from my massive Book Outlet haul, I picked up 2 religious books. Both are by James Martin. He is a Jesuit priest in the United States who is well known for thoughtful, reflective Christian thinking. I love him, and I work for the Jesuits, so I really enjoy his commentary. The first book that I picked up from Book Outlet is The Jesuit Guide to Almost Everything, A Spirituality for Real Life by James Martin, and I work with Jesuits, so I figured this was a high time I read this one. The second one by James Martin was Between Heaven and Mirth, Why Joy, Humor, and Laughter Are at the Heart of the Spiritual Life. Doesn't that just sound wonderful and like a laughing Mother Teresa? Like, doesn't this just make you want to pick it up for those of you who might be interested in spiritual life? I'm going to be going on a retreat in May, so I think that this is going to be one of the books I take with me. I'm very excited to read this one. Now on to the fiction that I got from Book Outlet. The first one is an oldie but a goodie, and that is this copy of The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Now, I have a copy of The Hobbit. It is being taped together and is my mom's copy from the 1970s. So I felt like for like $2 to get a new edition that is this lovely sort of pocket edition. I don't actually love the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but I really enjoy The Hobbit, and this is one I'd like to keep on my shelves. This is the only one I reread, so having a nicer copy that is not actually falling apart was worth the investment. I then picked up The Masked City. This is the second of the Invisible Library novels by Genevieve Cogman. Now, in my last book haul video, I picked up the first one of these. It was highly recommended to me by the bookstore clerks because this is sort of similar to A Discovery of Witches, but in a library with spies and magic, which just sounds like exactly everything I want in life. I only ordered the second book, even though Book Outlet had the second and thirds, because I'm trying to not have lots of a series in case I don't like them. Now, I don't always follow that rule, but I'm trying to be a little bit more mindful of it before I just go hog wild and buy an entire series. So this is the second one, and I will put it with the sister book, and I will let you guys know once I start these. Then I picked up The Shadow Cabinet. This is the third installment of the Shades of London series by Maureen Johnson. I have the first two books that I picked up at a used bookstore, my Friends of a Library bookstore. This has been months and months ago, and I actually haven't read the first two, and of course I bought the third one, but it was such a good deal. It was like $2, and so now I have the first three. I think there's going to be 4 or 5 books in this series, so I could marathon them and hope I like them all. Even though I just said I shouldn't buy multiples in a series in case I don't like them, I just did that exact same thing. But I break my own rules all the time, so I have it, I can put it with the others, and then hopefully do a good marathon. These aren't super long, so these would be ripe for marathoning. And my last two books in that Book Outlet haul are the first 2 books in the Merriam Black series by Chuckwendig. The first one being Blackbirds, and the second one being Mockingbird. These follow Merriam Black, who has the sort of magical ability to touch a person and know the exact way they're going to die. This has made her kind of rough and tumble, and she has a dirty mouth, and she takes no crap from anybody, and I just feel like I'm going to love these. I love Chuckwendig on Twitter, and I love reading his blog, but I've never read any of his books, so I figured it was high time I corrected that oversight, and these are 2 that I've been looking for. In fact, I almost ordered the first 3 books in this series over Christmas and decided not to. So when these were on sale for a really good price and it was free shipping, I was like, add those to my cart right now. I did only get the first 2 instead of the first 3 just in case I didn't love them, but I feel like these are going to be 100% everything I want in life. And apparently they're going to be a TV series. I had no idea, so I don't watch TV, but all right, yay Chuckwendig. And here are the 11 books that I got in this spring book haul. Comment down below and let me know if you have read any of these and if there are any that you particularly love that you think I should jump into. Also let me know, what is your favorite place to buy books? Book Outlet is one of my favorites, but it's so dangerous. I can spend more money than I mean to there and not even realize it. I hope you guys are all doing well, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!